Hello, everybody, and welcome to Same Cast Different Day podcast. I am Martel Rowland, and we have a special guest fill-in while Tina Marie is in Vegas living her best life right now. We had Tavish here with us. What going on?
Nothing.
Just
I had no
nothing.
plans. I did karaoke last night.
How
Um,
was it? How was it?
I don't want to brag too hard, but it was freaking great. Like I sang a new song, and well, not like a new song, but like a new song for me, and people were dancing and like cheering
Oh,
and whatnot at the end, and I was like, I even like took a nice little bow and everything, like unabashedly. It was great.
so this is one of the songs that we're gonna be seeing on your TikTok live karaoke that you were planning
Yeah,
on.
actually, if you catch me on TikTok live karaoke's, that is a song that I do. I also do have it pinned on my TikTok right now.
When are we gonna get a live stream? Because I'm that's where I met him at is from TikTok live streams, and now he doesn't go live anymore, being a boring old man. Even though I think I might be older than him, but still, that's not the point. The point is he's being a boring old man now.
I I went live a lot because I was on summer vacation. I worked for a high school, but I started a new job, so I'm gonna try to figure out like a more regular cadence that I can actually like stick to, kind of thing. But Sundays is probably gonna be my day because, well, actually, I need to rethink that. Well, no, Sundays. Sundays is gonna be my day probably.
People like me, it's we be tired. Like I was thinking, I had got home today. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for the show to be over today if I can go to sleep.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
exhausted from work today. And Tavish made fun of me because I might have lost the new hire that I'm working with today at work. And it wasn't even for an hour into the shift.
How do you even lose them though?
Because I remember telling him, like, hey, I'm gonna go to the seventh floor. We're gonna start on the seventh floor. So I thought he was following me. It turns out he wasn't following me. So I get to the seventh floor. I'm up there and I'm just waiting and waiting. He never shows up.
Okay,
So I'm
when you
like,
say wait, you say follow me to the seventh floor. Did you take the stairs or did you take an elevator? Like, how
no,
do you
the
know that
elevator.
he's? How do you not know he's?
Because
He
I
should
have
be in the elevator with you.
no, because I have two bins and then he had two bins, so we can't fit four bins on the elevator. So I went up to the seventh floor first, and then I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna be on the next elevator, but he never shought up.
Okay, I didn't realize you had
So
something.
yeah,
Old
it was
beds with you.
about 9:30 ish the next time I saw him.
Oh my god. How
Yeah,
long? So how long did you lose your new hire?
yeah. Let's see. Last time I saw him was about 7:30 ish, or something about 2 hours.
So 2 hours losing your new hire.
Yeah, that's probably why they don't allow me to train that often.
They're like, Martel, you are our best trainer. Will you please take this person
No,
and lose them
you
for a
know what?
couple hours?
I think the only reason they stuck him with me because it was like, hey, the other person we were going to put him with didn't show up, so here you go. And I'm like, okay.
You're the last person that we can find. Please don't lose him.
I was the last resort. Yeah, I think they left today. I mean, because I was like, hey, do you know that he's only been there for a week? So like the square footage of the campus we in that we cover, so they say it's like over 1 million square feet. So I was like, hey, do you know the building? He was like, yeah. I'm like, well, if you know the building, you don't need to tell me all day. So like, hey, just go to these floors, and then if somebody else need help, just go to them floors, and then I'll meet up with you at this time. And if you say you don't need any help, then we're good. And that's how the day went. So I pretty much hid all day in the bathrooms while he worked. It was fine. It was fine.
It
The day
was
was
fine.
fine.
It
Yeah,
sounds
it was
fine.
fine. He was he survived the day with me. So to kick things off, we're going to head into our first segment, which is probably the only segment today because I didn't really look up anything for hot topics. So we're going to head into news roundup. Yay! I felt like I should have put this stuff in order. That's on my little tab over here. Didn't put it in order. So we're gonna have to guess on what I'm clicking on at this point. But the first is one of the senators came out and said, like, hey, the US isn't having enough babies basically to sustain the US population. So I do have a clip of that, and I'm gonna play that, discuss it. But hopefully I play the right clip. What that's
gonna be even better.
Y'all gotta check this story.
That's not the right clip.
Congress just warned the United States on how the infertility rates have been drastically dropping, and just within the next few years, there will actually be more deaths than births.
We got a problem. And it's all something almost no one here ever talks about. We're not having children. United States fertility rates have collapsed. This number's wrong. It's our latest number for last year is not 1.64, it's 1.63. France has a higher fertility rate than the United States. Even when you adjust for their immigration population, they still have a dramatically higher fertility. Most of Western Europe looks like us, and we're worse than a whole bunch of the world. How do you and I set public policy so 25 years from now, remember, Social Security is substantially a pay-as-you-go system. Today's workers are functionally paying for today's retirees. The trust fund was the shock absorber. Trust fund is disappearing. But my future generation of workers is going to be smaller. And you're already seeing this in school districts all over America, where the number of students they have are shrinking. Are we willing to have the really interesting discussion of, okay, are there things we could do economically to make it so family formation, so there's more children? There's things we could do to help, but almost every country it's tried has not been able to change fertility rates. I think in Hungary, I think I saw something that, you know, third child, they buy you a house, fourth child, you get some sort of like prize, and it's barely ticked up their fertility rates. It's a really difficult question, happening all over the industrialized world. So if you can't really change it, do you actually build public policy to deal with it?
Oh, how there's just so much to digest in that whole scenario right there. First of all, it's not affordable to have a family anymore. It's just not affordable. On top of that, people can barely afford to even buy a car, a used car, put food on the table, electricity, insurance, and so much more. The last thing people are worried about right now is having kids. What people are worried about right now is basically trying to survive. And the thing about it is we just sent billions of dollars to Ukraine and the other place, the Gaza war people. I can't think of the name of them people, Gaza and whatever them people is. Them. We sent money over there to them for their wars and stuff like that. But yet our own government does not want to put money. Oh, my microphone went out. Our own government do not want to put money into our own country to fix, inflation, fix, the cost of electricity going up. Like, we just got to notice here in Wisconsin for the fourth straight year of the price of electricity and gas going up from the electric company here, which is Wisconsin Electric. We just found, yeah. So, you could buy a house, someone to buy a house as a prize or whatever like that. And so these people get the house, but who's to say they have the money to maintain a house? Can you imagine, being a family who went through that whole thing and said the government, you went and had a kid and the government gave you a house for having a kid. And then it turns out, some years down the line where you're trying to, survive. And then next thing you know, you need a roof on your house. A roof, to have a roof replaced on your house is $20,000, if not more. And that's just for a roof. So imagine having a kid and a family, and you're trying to budget all these other things, and you're trying to maintain a household, and it's just, oh shit, this damn court. It's just impossible to do. Like, I have a friend who has spent several years in college who is a doctor, and yet, even though she has a husband who makes pretty good money, also, she had to go get a second job to afford life. And they have 2 kids together. So we talking about a 2 person household income that's probably well over freaking court. Okay, that's probably well over like $100,000 a year, and they're still struggling. So what made them think that people are going to have kids? Tab, you have any thoughts on this story while my microphone keep going out?
You could actually, one of the things that he said I thought was really interesting was with the schools, how like we're seeing less and less just students or whatever. Like I worked in a high school, so like I wouldn't see it until a little bit later anyways. But I really don't feel like there was less kids running around like watching my sister pick up her kid, or like I know in my family, like my twin has five kids. My little brother has a kid, and then my sister has a kid. Like I'm the only one in my family that does not have children. So like we are proliferating. It is still happening out there in the world. A lot. And a lot more with some of these kids, but and like even in the high school, like I remember just in my area that I grew up in, we had students dropping out in middle school because they were pregnant. And so like that hasn't changed here. Like that statistic is still pretty strong in the same like how many students are being pregnant in middle and high school here even. And so like I don't see that happening. And like I love that the girl had those statistics at the beginning of the video to say like this is already ridiculous because like just know this.
Right. Yeah. Here we go.
He's gonna do this the karaoke host way.
Oh my god, yeah. So I'm gonna have to actually hold the mic, I guess, because the cord isn't gonna act right. So this is gonna pee me off today. So that just made me lose my whole train of thought. But yeah, like you said, like even when I was in high school though, like it was still a large number of kids, but yeah, a lot of kids were dropping out of high school. There were a lot of kids that were getting pregnant. I know some kids that were getting pregnant in the 6th grade. So there is this is a problem that's been going on forever. Like there is still people having a lot of kids, and like they said, like there's gonna be more deaths than it is births going on. But then at the same time, I'm one of those people where I don't want it. Yes, it's for a selfish reason that I don't want kids. Most of it is because I just can't see myself giving up my freedom, and yet I don't even like taking care of myself. So what do I look like taking care of another human if I don't even like taking care of myself? Like I have so much bad decisions for money, and you want me to manage money with another person to feed? Like, no, not possible. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Because there are like times where, like, when I say I want to give up my freedom, it's like, all of my friends have kids. So like when I randomly call them like, hey, let's go drinking, they can't do that because they're like, oh, I got my kid and I gotta go find a baby and all that other kind of stuff. So it's like I don't want to have kids, so I don't have to deal with that. And like I said, another human is just too expensive. Like I know I'm expensive. I blew $500 to $600 on a WWE championship belt that I'm probably only going to use like twice a year when I go to an event. So yeah, me having a kid is a big no.
I feel like it's almost like a distraction because like we know that we're in a position in the world, not just as a country, but we're in the position as a world where like not necessarily just overpopulation, but like greenhouse gases and everything that like if even there was a statistic that said like we are having not just like a decline in humanity or whatever, but like just a pause, a little bit of a dip in our fertility or whatever. Like, isn't that like what we needed right then? Like, wouldn't that be a natural, like, little bit of a tip in the way that we need, so that, but like in a not bad way, that like no lives are created or hurt or anything. Like, just like, you know what, like, but like then you have to think about like why are we like less fertile and everything too. But like it seems a little bit like an audacious statement to me to be like,
Yeah.
focus on this, have more babies. Like,
Yeah,
we're focusing on the world and everything, like,
and they
fuck
want us
around
to
and find
have
out, like,
they want us to have more babies to fund Social Security for the future.
for what debt? We like, I
And
don't
but
get
then the
where
thing
this
about it, for
debt
like,
comes from.
so like if what's her name, Nikki Haley, if she was to get elected as president of the United States,
Mhm.
for me and Tavish generation, they were talking about upping the retirement age to 70 because they're claiming that Americans are living longer, people are living longer. So they were talking about increasing the retirement age to 70, and I'm like, there are so many people who, the generation that's before me that are currently still working. Like, I have a coworker that's 72 years old that does the exact same job that I do, which is a very physical job. And so a lot of these people, they oh shit, they actually work until they're 70 or 70 plus years old, and then they finally retire, and then they get their Social Security and stuff. But then 4 years after retirement, they're dead. So it's like, did they really get to enjoy retirement? Did they really get to enjoy not having to get up and go to work on a daily basis and get to go out and travel and see the world and all these other kind of things? So then they say like, well, then there was the one point they were saying like, there's not enough people saving their money. Like, there's not enough people putting money in their bank accounts and saving money. Like, they do like this whole like national average thing. They're talking about how Americans don't have much money in their savings account. I'm like, well, at the way that things are going now, we're going to be dead before we be able to retire from work. Like, we're going to spend that money now. Like, we're not saving for the future no more because there is no future.
Right.
Once we retire. So it's like, yeah, we're just going to spend it now, basically.
I feel like these days, people will use like 401ks and stuff as an emergency savings account. Like, it goes in there and everything. Like, I have a 401k is what people are saying. I have a retirement and everything, but then when shit hits the fan, like, they have something to fall back on because they all of them have a policy where you can pull out money.
No, I got a 403b is what it's called in my job, and they do not let us take out money unless it's a medical emergency, or you're basically about to have your electricity cut off, or you're about to be evicted. It's the only way they let you take out money. Or you have to just close out the whole entire account, and that's how you get the money out, just by closing out the whole entire account.
Oh, maybe that's why I've been able to use them, is because they've had to close out for separation of employment reasons.
Yeah. So like,
but it's that emergency savings account, and then now I have something if I need to get out.
Yeah, but then like the people, like in my job, if you've been there 5 years or less, the money that the company put into that account, you cannot take it. That money goes back to the company, and then you just take what you put in. You surrender that money. So since I've been there for like, it's been, it's gonna make me sound so old saying that. I'm just gonna say I've been there for a while, and
25 years.
No, it's crazy because I thought about it. Like, when I'm 32 now, and I'm like, if I'm still there when I'm 42 years old, which is another 10 years from now, I would have been there a little over 20 years, and I'm only in my early 40s. So somebody like me, like right now, they take 5% of what I make and they put into that account, and then the company takes an additional 3 to 4% and they put money into that account. And then every year, I believe in March or April, they put in another fund that goes into the account, like more money. It's like about $1,000 to $1,500 every year on the additional that they put into that account. So. And then I have mines heavily invested in the stock market. So if the stock market is doing really bad, I lose money in that account. But if I'm doing really good, I can gain money pretty fast in that account. But yeah, but like you were saying though, like yeah, that's become an emergency fund, and I feel like if I was to get into a situation where I need the cash, I'm definitely going in there and taking it. Consider I do have pretty good amount in there. I'm going to take it out because I'm like I said, like it is hard out here to survive. You go to the grocery store, and I can literally go spend $200 on at the grocery store, and a week and a half later, be like, why the fuck is my refrigerator is empty? It should be empty. And like I said, it's hard. It's hard. It's so hard out here for Americans just in general. No matter, only people who's out here surviving is the millionaires. That's because they can get away with not paying taxes. I've literally heard a government official say, we don't go after the millionaires when it comes to taxes because it's harder for us to go after them. That's why we go after the common middle, like the middle class people, because they can't fight us. There's nothing they can really do. We can just put a tax lien on them, and they are forced to pay it. Like it's so easier for us to make the middle class people pay their fair share in taxes than it is for the millionaires to pay it, which I think is complete bullcrap and something that needs to be fixed. But speaking of this whole birth weight and fertility thing, one of the things I do want to point out is you guys are saying that birth rates are so low and all these kind of things. So I said, is this the reason why they fought so hard to ban abortion? And second thing is, like, for the people who have a hard time having kids, if they like for what they call embryos, if the one of those was to die or whatever, something was to happen to it, the people that's in charge of the embryo is now being charged with murder, basically, if that embryo was to die. So it's like, yeah, you took away the programs to help people have kids. So none of those fertility programs are really working right now. You can't do any of those. So it's like, whose fault is it that people are really not having kids no more? Because people who are trying to have kids, you preventing them from having kids. And then a lot of the kids that we are getting are the kids who are parents were addicted to drugs, and the baby come out addicted to drugs. Just saying.
Some of them, yeah.
It's a lot of them. And I feel like it's a good thing that Americans are not having kids, because I feel like we are in a time of stupid. It's like everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, it's just a lot of stupid people. A lot of stupid, unnecessary people in this world. Like, we just had a guy, somebody was telling me at work, this was 2 days ago. This guy, the car came speeding down the street, and he ran over a mother and the daughter. The 4-year-old daughter was killed after hit and run. So the man hit the mother and the daughter. He stops his car. Him and his sister get out the car. They run and go check out the people and leave the people there and drive off. He goes to hide the car at the railroad tracks or whatever. The sister is later on caught the same day from running from the police and then police chase. And the man who was the driver of the car turns out to be dating the mother of the girl that he hit. That's just the level of stupid that's going on in this city. Like, we have the other guy who talked to this woman for God knows long, and she finally agrees to go on a date with him. And this girl was so excited about going on this date with this man, and this man decides that he's going to dismember her and spread her body parts throughout our city. And this is the young woman that he decided to just dismember. And right now they are currently still looking for some of her body parts. So far, I believe a leg, an arm, and a torso has been found, but I think it's still one of her arms is missing, and I don't think they found her head yet either. So they're still searching for her. So like I said, it's a lot of stupid that's going on in the world. But to turn my transition here into another stupid, I want to play a clip for y'all and let y'all listen to I guess we can call them homophobes or conservative stupids. I don't know. Let's just listen to the stupid.
There's a lot of countries around the world that are not having children at the replacement rate necessary in order to continue maintaining their society. If you look at the data on homosexuality, like a few generations ago, it was like less than 2% of people were homosexual. Gen Z, they're around like 23% identifying as LGBTQ.
Hold on, whoa. The 20% identifying as LGBTQ are predominantly bisexual. population collapse is not happening because of degeneracy or LGBT stuff.
I would say it's a contributing factor.
That's fine, but you'd be wrong. The reason why it's happening is because when countries develop and people are given the opportunity to explore lives, they're not just saying like, oh, I'm 22, I'm gonna have a ton of kids. There arguably is an issue relating to population collapse, but like those conversations need to be intelligent and they have to revolve around what's actually happening, which is women getting access to reproductive control, like birth control, and women entering school and the job market. Those are the two massive driving factors. Because the reality is if you put a bright future in front of somebody and you say, do you want to pursue that or do you want to have 4 kids by the time you're 24? Most women are reasonably choosing like, oh, I think I'd rather actually like live my life and do this stuff. I'm pretty sure every single woman at this table has probably made the same choices. I think that the issue is that we've given women access to all of these things and they really enjoy it. And now we need to have a conversation. What are we going to do for our future population? Because blaming gay people isn't going to put that back in the box.
I was thinking the same thing.
Is it period? I think that's what
like he really tried. He tried to blame our. Oh shit! He tried to blame our population problem on the gays. I don't understand how. And it's like I'm like, even the gays are having kids. Like they go get surrogate mothers and are having kids. So I'm like, how are you trying to say 23% of the people of Gen Z identify as LGBTQ is the reason why our fertility rates are so?
But not just that. Like, I'm sorry, I had a really good point there for a second. I'm like,
people. It gives you people stupid. Oh my god, it gives you a headache. People stupid.
No, like his statistics even. Like he wants to use statistics or whatever. Like it's based off of how people are identifying at that time. Like if it's not as widely known or widely accepted or widely understood, then like it's not going to be something that people are broadcasting or checking a box on any form or survey or whatever. So like, yes, your statistics are going to show that there is a dramatic increase in people when the comfortability goes up.
Right. And then, when he said that a lot of people are identifying as bisexual, I'm like, yeah, freaking guy. It's true. They are.
It's true. There's more. That's what he's saying.
My frustration is building. It's building. It's building very hard right now. Are you able to hear me?
It's kind of quiet.
Oh,
You figured it out, is what you just did.
oh my god.
I heard very quietly, my microphone.
Okay. Hopefully this is going to work. I was trying to find mother cord, but I can't find it. I don't know where we was at the show, but I'm just gonna yeah, it's wrapped around my thing. So, to keep things going, we are going to talk about a little man who is trying to run for presidency right now, and I don't even know how to set this up because he's basically in court arguing about immunity and stuff like that. His lawyer is. So I'm going to play this clip. It's a bit of a lengthy clip, and then we're going to discuss it.
Check this out.
So I think I now understand better your position. In your discussions with Justice Kavanaugh, it became clear that you are saying that for the private acts of a president, there's no immunity, but for the official acts of the president, there is immunity. Is that your position?
I agree with that.
All right. So one thing that occurs to me is that this sort of difficult line drawing problem that we're having with all of these hypotheticals, is this a private act or a public act, is being necessitated by that assumption. Because of course, if official acts didn't get absolute immunity, then it wouldn't matter. We wouldn't have to identify which are private and which are public, correct?
That, in fact, is the approach of the D.C. Circuit. There's no determination that needs to be made.
Right, but I'm just making, so to the extent we're worried about, like, how do we figure out whether it's private or public, we have to understand that we're only doing that because of an underlying assumption that the public acts get immunity. So let me explore that assumption. Why is it, as a matter of theory, and I'm hoping you can sort of zoom way out here, that the president would not be required to follow the law when he is performing his official acts? Everyone else, there are lots of folks who have very high-powered jobs, who make a lot of consequential decisions, and they do so against the backdrop of potential criminal prosecution if they should break the law in that capacity. And we understand and we know, as a matter of fact, that the President of the United States has the best lawyers in the world. When he's making a decision, he can consult with pretty much anybody as to whether or not this thing is criminal or not. So why would we have a situation in which we would say that the president should be making official acts without any responsibility for following the law?
I respectfully disagree with that characterization. The president absolutely does have responsibility. He absolutely is required to follow the law in all of his official acts. But the remedy for that is the question: could he be subject to personal vulnerability, sent to prison for making a bad decision after he leaves office?
But other people who have consequential jobs and who are required to follow the law make those determinations against the backdrop of that same kind of risk. So what is it about the president? I mean, I've heard you say it's because the president has to be able to act boldly, make kind of consequential decisions. I mean, sure, but again, there are lots of people who have to make life and death kinds of decisions, and yet they still have to follow the law. And if they don't, they could be sent to prison, et cetera, et cetera. So
I say two things in response to that,
yes.
Both from Fitzgerald. That's the very sort of inference or reasoning that this court rejected in Fitzgerald.
No, but let me just, Fitzgerald was a civil situation in which the president actually was in a different position than other people because of the nature of his job, the high-profile nature, and the fact that he touches so many different things. When you're talking about private civil liability, anybody on the street can sue him. We could see that the president was sort of different than the ordinary person when you say, should he be immune from civil liability from anybody who wants to sue him? But when we're talking about criminal liability, I don't understand how the president stands in any different position with respect to the need to follow the law as he is doing his job than anyone else.
He is required to follow the law. And what Fitzgerald
but he's not.
Said is
if there's no criminal if there's no threat of criminal prosecution, what prevents the president from just doing whatever he wants?
All the structural checks that are identified in Fitzgerald and a whole series of this court's cases that go back to Martin against Mott, for example, impeachment, oversight by Congress, public oversight. There's a long series of them. Fitzgerald directly addresses this in the civil context, and we think that language naturally ports.
I'm not sure that's much of a backstop. And what I'm, I guess, more worried about, you seem to be worried about the president being chilled. I think that we would have a really significant opposite problem if the president wasn't chilled. If someone with those kinds of powers, the most powerful person in the world, with the greatest amount of authority, could go into office knowing that there would be no potential penalty for committing crimes. I'm trying to understand what the disincentive is from turning the Oval Office into, the seat of criminal activity in this country.
I don't think there's any allegation of that in this case. And what George Washington said is, what Benjamin Franklin said is, we view the prosecution of a chief executive as something that everybody cried out against as unconstitutional. And what George Washington said is, we're worried about factional strife, which will.
No, I'm also, let me put this worry on the table. If the potential for criminal liability is taken off the table, wouldn't there be a significant risk that future presidents would be emboldened to commit crimes with abandon while they're in office? It's right now the fact that we're having this debate because OLC has said that presidents might be prosecuted. Presidents from the beginning of time have understood that that's a possibility. That might be what has kept this office from turning into the kind of crime center that I'm envisioning. But once we say no criminal liability, Mr. President, you can do whatever you want, I'm worried that we would have a worse problem than the problem of the president feeling constrained to follow the law while he's in office.
I respectfully disagree with that because the regime you've described is the regime we've operated under for 234 years. There has not been an expectation based on 234 years of unbroken political.
All right, let me ask you another question. Let me ask you another question about this clear statement line of questioning. First of all, I didn't see you argue that below. I don't know. I understand that you have that set of in your briefs here, but did you argue before the D.C. Circuit something about a clear statement with respect to statutes?
Yes, in our separately filed motion to dismiss based on statutory grounds, we extensively argued not just this clear statement rule, but a whole panel.
Right, but that's not the question presented in this case. The question presented in this case comes out of your motion for immunity. So to bring in now an argument that you didn't raise below, it seems to me you forfeited it. No?
I believe it's fairly included within the question presented, especially because the court expanded the question presented from what either of the parties submitted.
But not to statutory interpretation. I mean, that argument goes to statutory avoidance, constitutional avoidance, statutory interpretation. You asked for immunity, which is a totally different thing.
I think they're very closely related logically. The question is does immunity exist and to what extent does it? And the argument is immunity at least exists to the extent that it raises a grave constitutional question that triggers the clear statement rule. That's a really tight
logical totally circular. You use that argument to avoid constitutional questions. You are asking us a constitutional question here. So it doesn't even make sense to talk about clear statement in rule the way that it's come up in the context of an immunity question. But let me ask you this about it. I had one more question. So what is the argument that the President of the United States, who you say is bound by the law, is not on notice that he has to do his job consistent with the law? I mean, to the extent that the clear statement rule comes in at all, it's about the person not being on notice. So I guess I don't understand why Congress in every criminal statute would have to say, and the president is included. I thought that was the sort of background understanding that if they're enacting a generally applicable criminal statute, it applies to the president just like everyone else. So what is the clear statement that would have to be made in this context?
Under Franklin and under Public Citizen, Congress has to speak clearly before it interferes with the president's powers, and we have here an indictment that seeks to criminalize objective conduct that falls within the heartland of core executive authority.
Okay, that was. Are you able to hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had to switch my other thing. So that was. First of all, that man's voice is so freaking annoying. Like, that is the most annoying voice I've heard in such a long time. Two, this man is a complete idiot. The fact that he's saying that, hey, the president has goddamn storm here. So the fact that he's saying that the president has to follow every law here, I mean, he's bound by the law and he has to operate under the law, but yet he should have immunity from the law because of the decisions that he has to make as the president of the United States. Although this is a man who was caught on recording telling his like election staff, hey, you need to go find me some more votes. This is the same man that was on a recording saying, and they know it's okay to grab pussies. It's so much off off the wall stuff that this man has said and done. There are so many crimes this man has committed while being the president of the United States, and yet his lawyers asking for immunity from all of that. And I agree with her. I don't feel like any president should have immunity whatsoever. I get that, as president, you can send some say, hey, I want this person is a threat to America. They have to make those kind of decisions. But when it comes to actual stuff that's going on in the country, and when it comes to you being a abiding citizen, you should have to follow law like just any other person that walked the street. In my personal opinion, I don't feel like this should be something that should be continued to be argued. The Supreme Court needs to go ahead and just make that decision where yes, there's no immunity for Trump at this point.
Yeah, I don't think that it should be much of a conversation. Like I think that the justice there handled it really well. I loved that she had the opportunity to like kind of cut the guy off and like no, and just like move on or like go to a different part and stuff. Like I thought that was beautiful. I think it's really interesting to like really really look and listen to the lawyer that Trump has there because like for me at the core he sounds and makes me feel like how Trump kind of makes me feel on the inside. Like he has pretty words maybe and stuff, but like if you really listen, then you can hear what the justice called out there, where they're going back and forth and they're like going in a circle and everything and talking in circles. The word for that is called circumlocution. Like this person is masterful at circumlocution to try and get what they want. But like in this situation, I really hope that it's not going to go that way because in that like we've got that justice there. Like hopefully that justice can help spread out the common sense.
I hope so. That was one of the justices that who was our current president? President Biden added. Don't judge
what
me.
Year is it?
That President Biden added to the Supreme Court.
If you had left it to me, I'd have told you Nixon.
Oh my goodness. And then a lot of people like don't bash me on here just because like I'm not for Donald Trump being reelected. I keep saying I have said this so many times. I am okay with a Republican president, just not Donald Trump. Like I will accept George Bush brother as president of the United States as Republican over Donald Trump. And we all know how bad both Bushes were during their time as president.
God.
I would accept another Bush as president, a Republican president over Donald Trump. I can accept hell, Arnold Schwarzenegger can go run as president of the United States as a Republican, and I wouldn't care if he was to win the election. I just do not like the Orange Man. I can't stand him. I don't like how he talks. He makes people just feel horrible. Like he treats people very horrible, and then the way how he just tugged and oh my god, like it bothers me so much.
So
like the way how this man operates, everything
realized,
about this man bothers me.
I think I just realized where the real separation comes from is a lot of people look at it as how does he make me feel like we do? Like why does it make me feel that way? Because we know that it's not all right. Like it's not right. But then there's people that look at it as what do I get out of it? And like that's why they're liking him more is because they're looking at like what do I get out of it? And like yes, he's been able to make some decisions and whatever that were benefiting some people, but it doesn't benefit everybody and it doesn't make it so that it's better. It's benefiting some people is what it is. It's not making anything better.
Right.
And or at least not for the majority. Like it's making things better for people that didn't need it to be better necessarily.
Right, like Dave Chappelle said in one of his stand-ups, he said that he watched all these Trump, mega supporters, whatever, these poor Trump mega supporters, showing how much they love Trump and how much they support him. And Dave Chappelle, who is a black rich man, said that I benefited more from Trump being president than average person did, like a average working American person did. And because Trump put so, like, reason why this country is in so much debt is because basically millionaires and billionaires did not have to pay taxes pretty much while Trump was in office. And but then all the lower and middle class people were the ones picking up the bill and flipping the bill for all his rich friends not paying their fair share in taxes. And like for these people to go and vote for him when he done nothing, like the people who you really need to go out there and vote for him and elect him into office, those are the people that he's not doing anything for. Like there is no benefits for the middle class or lower class people when it comes to Donald Trump being in office. And to be honest, I could say the same thing about the Democratic Party because like even here in our local elections where I live at, like my mayor, he is to me terrible as a mayor. He's a Democratic mayor and I cannot stand him just for the simple fact that he focuses so much on like low income and people that's in poverty, and it's like, hey, us as middle class people are being ignored when it comes to issues that we need. Like we get up and go to work every day, and I can go look at my refrigerator right now and it's empty. There's no food in there. It's empty. Today I went to Chick-fil-A and bought dinner today. Like it's empty. We have, I don't know what it's called where you live at, but we have something that's called like energy assistance where basically every year in April these people go apply for it because I don't know if you guys got a moratorium where you live at. So we had a moratorium that kicks in like the second week of November. So from November until like April 16th, the electric company here cannot turn off your gas and electricity because of the winter season. So some people go all winter not paying their bill. And then here it comes in April because they are considered low income. They get to go file for energy assistance and get half their bill knocked down and to avoid getting their utilities cut off. But for people who are considered middle class people, that's not an option for us. Like we have to continuously pay our electric and gas bills throughout the winter months. Like I said, we have to pay out of pocket for health insurance. Like people who are considered low income where I stay at, they have something like I forgot the state insurance is called, like Badger Care or something like that. But it's like basically a state insurance. Like they get free health insurance for free. Like for me, I have to pay I believe it's like 170, 180 some dollars a month for health insurance. And this is through my job as a single person, paying for health insurance. So, and then on top of that, for me every time I go to the doctor, it's $30 per doctor visit. If I was to go to see a specialist, that's $60 per specialist visit. I had injured myself at work and I had to go get an MRI done on my arm. And they told me that I was going to have to pay $1,200 out of pocket, even though I have insurance. But somebody who basically is considered low income and living in poverty would not have to pay any type of deductibles whatsoever for any type of health care.
If you hurt your arm at work, then they need to pay for it.
Yeah, they paid the deductible. I wasn't gonna pay for that. That was covered under workman's comp. But I'm just saying, like, if it wasn't covered under workman's comp, then I would have to pay that out of pocket, the $1,200 and some dollars. And then the company that I work for, you cannot work for them and owe them. So because they know you work there, and I believe like after 30 days, if you didn't set up a payment arrangement with them, they take you to court and sue you, and they garnish your wages for like 20% of your wages until that bill is paid out of every paycheck.
Dang.
It's like no help for the middle class people, huh?
I said, get your money, I guess. Like maybe that's a practice that other people can use in a good way.
Yes. So from what we were told, the company that I work for, they were used to like government giving them so much money, and they had like this abundance of money that they could spend on every year or whatever, and they was just used to having a certain amount of money. So now that the government is not giving them that much money back from like Medicaid and Medicare and all that other kind of stuff, they had to figure out a new way of a spending thing. So now it's like they're penny pinching every single dime and nickel they can possibly penny pinch. Like they're merging departments together, or they're like, oh, we're going to cut this. So now we want you guys to do 12 to 13 hours worth of work in 8 hours. But at the same time, you guys are merging a lot of our jobs together and our assignments and our duties together to cut costs. So they currently right now are spending $500 million on building a parking structure. They are currently building a new cancer building, which costs an additional $20 million on top of the $500 million that they're spending. And then on top of that, they just built a brand new elevator bank, which is 4 elevator banks, but probably cost them another 10 to probably about 10 to 15 million to build, because they had to build it from the. I mean, they actually had to add on addition to the building in order to put the elevators there. And then they actually had to move offices and knock down. It's a whole mess that went along with that. And this is for 9 floors. They had to do this floor. And then on top of that, they're telling us, oh, we're going to build a 15-story tower on top of that. So it's like, you guys have all this money for constant building, but yet you are adding more work onto your employees and not paying them more money. And like I said, yeah, and exactly. And they merged with another company. Like the company that I work for, they just bought an insurance, like a health insurance company. So they own a health insurance company. They don't use their own health insurance for their employees to make health insurance cheaper. They're still using an outsourced insurance company for their employees, which is why we're still paying like stupid amount of money when we go to see our doctors and stuff like that. And the thing about it is, everybody who have our company health insurance, because I work for a hospital, all of our doctors are at the hospital that we work for, and yet we're still paying like outrageous amount of money for healthcare. So, and then they were like, oh, well, younger people don't go to the doctor. They don't go visit their doctors on a regular basis. Like, we can't afford it.
Like, not just that, but like if they are paying for it, they just spent their $120 on the insurance. Like now they don't have that for the copay. Like
exactly. Like we don't have it. Like it just bothers me. And like I said, like I won't be happy. I want somebody who's considered what's the Green Party called? Independence.
Yeah.
I forgot one of them people. I really want one of those to be running the country for 4 years, because like I feel like both Democrats and Republicans are harming everybody. They're not doing anything. They're not benefiting nobody. Like I said, Democrats are too focused on low income poverty people, and the Republicans are too focused on millionaires. And it's just like the people who work
for now.
Right.
Like really, like when you look at the history of like Democrats and Republicans,
it was flipped back in the day.
Back and forth, like, and not just once, like it just keeps going back and forth on like what the values are or whatever. So like when it's all said and done, like I don't care what their affiliation says, what color it is, red or blue. Like I'm listening to what values there are, and if they align with my values, like that's what I'm trying to listen for and everything.
Exactly. And like I said, we don't, there's not nothing for the middle class. Like I said, for the middle class people, there's nothing. Like this man literally said, hey, we're gonna go into poor. Okay. This man said we're gonna go into poor neighborhoods and we're gonna use tax dollars to tear down abandoned houses. I'm like, I feel like that money could be used towards something way better than just tearing down
I feel like
abandoned houses. And then like exactly. And we have so many road problems here. And then like we have this thing where they're like, oh, well, there's too many young people baselining. If you don't know what baselining is, it's like where cars are normally parked at on the side of the road or whatever. So if there's like a 4-lane road and there are cars parked right there, there's no cars parked right there. Somebody go baseline in that little lane right there. And then the car is like coming up the parked car, they hurry up and jump over to the lane or whatever. So they call that baseline. So we had a lot of that happening. We had a lot of highs. We had a lot of the Kia boys. They were out here stealing a whole bunch of cars, like Kia cars, getting in high speeds, crashing the cars and stuff like that. We had a lot of people that were just speeding, running red lights, and we had people no register their vehicles or not even registered at all. We have so much bad driving going on, and their solution to fix this bad driving is we're going to turn just about every major street into one lane. If what I mean by one lane is there's one lane going north, one lane going south, there's one lane going east, there's one lane going west. We have so many streets where they're transforming them, the streets into where it was normally 4 lanes down to just one lane or two.
They just crack up our streets, like they just mess up the street.
Yeah, so yeah, like they created like one of the major streets. They took where it was 2 lanes going east and west. They took the right lane and made it a bus lane. Like what it's then it's like, and then in another area, like they have like these concrete barriers that's like it's just random spots and like on the in the right, like where cars are normally parked there, like on the corners, they got like these concrete barriers. And it's just like, so you can't drive in the right lane whatsoever because of these little concrete things. So it's like we have a population here of almost 600,000 people, and you have 2 lane roads. Just, I mean, these 1 lanes on each side of the road, basically throughout the whole city. Like it is a nightmare traveling through this city during rush hour. And this Democratic person's solution was to stop reckless driving was I'm just gonna cause traffic congestion all over the city. And then it's like
learn people.
And then it's like right now we have the Republican National Convention that's going to be held here in Milwaukee. And right now they have been working on a highway now for like 3 fucking years, getting the city ready for this damn convention. And it's just been a nightmare. Like the roads are a nightmare. Like they've been redoing downtown over, and it's just been horrible trying to get through this city. I'm sick of it. I'm just so sick of it. Lord Jesus, help me. I just want to strangle somebody now just thinking about it. Oh, they look, ain't got no wine.
The road rage.
Oh my God. People be wondering why I be road raging. Like, it's just horrible. And it's like, so people be like, well, you could just take such and such way to get home. And I keep telling them, like, I don't drive through the hood.
He goes 0 to 60 faster than his car does.
like when nobody told you to take the scenic route home, and like I don't drive. I don't like driving through like the worst parts of the city. I would literally drive around the whole entire avoid. I would go through like all the way through a whole another part of the city just avoid going through another area of the city. I'm not driving in that part of the city. It's just not going to happen for me. Like I drive a 2023. What do my bougie ass look like being somewhere where there's somebody standing on the corner with a damn gun hanging on their pocket, pants down to their ankles? I'm not, and it's run down. Like I'm just not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Never. Republicans and Democrat people, y'all need to do better because y'all making me mad as hell. And then speaking of Republicans, this storm here is really messing with my Wi-Fi signal. So speaking of Republicans, and mostly Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, this is, I forgot which one of his sons, what do you call it, wife, but she said something that was just completely, and then this is what I mean by stupid people. So I want to play the clip for y'all.
That's ridiculous. We know that there's 120 states. Like, what?
That woman went on national television, said 81 states are so. Who? I think that's like one of the first things you learn in school, that it's 50 states in the United States.
I would have loved if it was just a typo, or even if there wasn't a typo and she just read it and saw a 3 and read it as an 8 and was like 81 states.
No, it's not that level of stupid. And there is more to this stupidness. So, because Trump did an interview, and even Joe Biden said that this was a must read, and I believe this was CNN who read out the things that were said in this interview by Trump, and I'm gonna play that for y'all.
In Louisiana, check this out. They passed a bill.
Okay, technology is not working for me.
I was like, in Louisiana, they passed. That's what they said.
In Louisiana, check this out. They passed a bill in March giving Republican Governor Jeff Landry more.
That is not the right clip. It's not the right clip. I don't even know where the clip is at. I don't know.
It's like, but for now, take it away, Conway 20.
The interview that Donald Trump did with Time magazine. President Biden actually calls this interview a mandatory read. And here's likely why. This is how the reporter, Eric Cortellessa, described his takeaways from his discussions with Trump. Quote, what emerged in 2 interviews with Trump and conversations with more than a dozen of his oldest advisors and confidants were the outlines of an imperial presidency that would reshape America and its role in the world. To carry out a deportation operation designed to remove more than 11 million people from the country, Trump told me. He would be willing to build migrant detention camps and deploy the U.S. military both at the border and inland. He would let red states monitor women's pregnancies and prosecute those who violate abortion bans. He would
monitor women's pregnancies.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Think about that. He would, at his personal discretion, withhold funds appropriated by Congress, according to top advisors. He would be willing to fire a U.S. attorney who doesn't carry out his order to prosecute someone, breaking with a tradition of independent law enforcement that dates from America's founding. He is weighing pardons for every one of his supporters accused of attacking the U.S. Capitol.
People who beat up police officers.
Criminals. On January 6, 2021, more than 800 of whom have pleaded guilty or have been convicted by a jury. He might not come to the aid of an attacked ally in Europe or Asia if he felt that country wasn't paying enough for its own defense. He would gut the U.S. civil service, deploy the National Guard to American cities as he sees fit, close the White House Pandemic Preparedness Office, and staff his administration with acolytes who back his false assertion that the 2020 election was stolen.
Gentle Mary, that summarizes what the stakes of this election are.
More ruthless, more efficient, taking away more rights, more cruel. You know, he understands now what he didn't before about who he said he wasn't going to be as nice this time around, right? He was going to fire people right away if they weren't implementing what he wanted to do. And then on a day that in Florida, that the 6-week abortion ban takes effect, he then goes to Michigan and talks about how it took a great deal of wisdom for the Supreme Court justices, calls them out by name, great deal of courage, great deal of wisdom to overturn Roe v. Wade, even as he's trying to make it appear as if he has some kind of other, some kind of different view about abortion now. And he talked about how people were very happy. People were very happy that Roe v. Wade got overturned on the day that, imagine what's going to happen in Florida now as doctors and women try to navigate a 6-week abortion ban.
Summarize the stakes of the election.
Is it possible?
I mean, we don't even have the time. For months now, we have been talking about Project 2025, and the Trump campaign folks have kind of, been giving it a long arm, stiffening back and saying, no, we have our own stuff that we are working on. Project 2025 is actually not what the Trump policies would or will be, and it is not true. Christopher, all these folks have said that. What Donald Trump said in the Time magazine interview and what he's been saying out there in the campaign trail is exactly what is in the Project 2025 playbook. There are 4 pillars in the playbook, okay? One of the pillars is about a personnel database where folks can literally make their own profile so that the Trump folks can go through and take a look at who they are and the people who are advising the 2025 project. The other pillar is a presidential administration academy. Well, after they've deemed that you were one of our potential people that we would give a job to in the government, we're going to train you up on these are the things that you can do and how to subvert the system to really address and get done what a President Trump would want you to do. And then the 4th pillar is the playbook. They literally write it out. And so this is not hyperbole. Donald Trump is not just saying, random things. This is the playbook. This is the plan. And folks this is the reality. This is it.
I just had so much to digest right there. I don't even know where to start. The fact that he want to build, so we're going to spend public money on building detention camps and then deploying the military there to deport these people. We're not going to protect America's allies if they are attacked, if they're not paying enough money. This man is going to cause World War III.
I think it's terrible.
You know what? Matter of fact,
it's an actual playbook, and that
matter of fact,
it's literally grooming people to be like him is what his playbook is.
And I feel like it's going to be so bad. Like what he's planning is going to be so bad. It's like Family Guy. It's like it's going to skip 3 and 4, and it's going to go straight to 5. We're going to be at World War V when this man get elected into presidency, if he get elected.
We need to watch the Simpsons episode on this. I think if we watch the Simpsons episode on this, like we would feel a little bit better.
Right, since they've been predicting everything right since the dawn of time.
Seriously.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I totally 100% agree. Yeah, Trump, please, people, whatever you do, even though I don't like Biden either, please just vote Biden. That's all I can say. It's just please go vote for Biden. Normally, I would not say that on here, but the fact that there is just so much at stake, I feel like if Trump was to get elected, we're going to be basically under a dictatorship. We're going to be living like North Korea if Trump was to get reelected, and I don't think that's something that any of us want. And the fact that the Supreme Court decided to give this man immunity from being in from crimes that he committed is we're going to be basically in a dictatorship. This man he's probably going to have it written into law that he could be president until he dies. And when he dies, my sons become president. Like there's no telling what this man is going to do once reelected. So please make a smart decision. That's what I'm going to say.
Please don't.
So I got one more story. It's about Tammy Baldwin. Then we're gonna go into our videos of the week and then final thoughts. So this is about a local election where I live at. Don't expect Tavish or anything. It's about Tammy Baldwin, who explains it in the video, and I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know that this guy was even running against her. So I'm going to play the clip and then we're going to discuss it.
Hey, Wisconsin, can we talk for a moment? Can you tell me what is going on here? Among likely voters in U.S. Senate race, the race is a tie with 50% each for Tammy Baldwin and Eric Hovde. You guys are actually considering Eric Hovde? This cartoon villain, you're considering electing him. The mega millionaire who has banks in California and lives in his beachfront mansion in California knows what's best for Wisconsin. because he dropped $2.5 million of his own money into shiny TV and digital ads, and y'all were like, well, these look pretty, and you're buying that? I think it's ironic that he made this one in a bar. This is the same guy who said in Wisconsin, you should make it illegal for people to be able to brew alcohol, except for like individuals. Businesses shouldn't. You know, considering all of the historic breweries that come out of Wisconsin, so much so that your Major League Baseball team is literally called the Brewers. And this guy's so in touch with what Wisconsin needs that he's like, maybe we should just make that illegal. Meanwhile, Tammy Baldwin, who's a trailblazer and is basically the gold standard of what a public servant should be, first openly gay U.S. senator in U.S. history, fighting to lower prescription drug prices, fighting to protect women's bodily autonomy, fighting to protect gay marriage. Oh, but he said he'll donate his salary every year to charities in Wisconsin. He's donating his salary and spending millions of dollars of his own money for what? To help Wisconsin? Or is there something bigger at play? Because what they want is the Senate seat. They want to control Wisconsin because Wisconsin has decided who the president is the last several years, and they've already made it clear if we control Wisconsin and we don't like the results of the election, we could circumvent the will of the people and just pick who we want. They're not caring about Wisconsin. They're using Wisconsin as a chess piece in a much bigger game, and they don't care what happens to you outside of that. But hey, a pretty commercial. Apparently that's gotten some of y'all's attention. Meanwhile, Tammy Baldwin believes the outcome of the election, the will of the people, is what should be upheld. For the betterment of Wisconsin and the betterment of the nation, she needs to retain her seat. So what can you do? If you're in Wisconsin, vote for Tammy. Talk to your neighbors and your friends and your coworkers and tell them how important it is to vote for Tammy. Send them this video if you must. Whether you were there or outside of there, you can donate to Tammy's campaign because right now, all they have is outspending her. He's willing to take millions out of his own bank account. She's a public servant. She can't do that. But she is serving the people, and the people can come together and give $10, $15, $20, and enough of that gives her a chance to get her message out, to let people know what she's done for Wisconsin, what she continues to do. There's a link in my bio where you can donate to Tammy. Every little bit helps. Remember, Tammy Baldwin is Wisconsin. She cares about Wisconsin, and her retaining that seat is better for the nation.
If you're in Wisconsin,
okay, before I discuss,
vote for Tammy.
Before I discuss that, so he talked about like when it comes to Wisconsin and brewing alcohol and beers and stuff. Mm-hmm. So in case y'all haven't seen this other video, I'm going to play this for y'all, and what he said about the brewing and stuff is going to make a lot more sense to you. Okay, so here we go.
So a map came out with the 50 drunkest counties in the U.S. And right when I saw the map, my eyes go to California, Texas, Florida, places like New York, New Jersey, but Wisconsin, with almost a clean sweep. Holy shit. Fuck yeah, to be frank.
So
he was frank.
Yeah, so to be honest, we are one of the drunkest. Probably is the most drunkest in the United States, to be honest, because to be honest, I live about 5 minutes away from a brewery. I should say not just a brewery, multiple breweries. And on top of that, like Miller High Life drafts and all that, anything that's made by Miller is brewed right down like literally like about 4 miles from my house. Yeah, it's like about 4 miles from my house is like the Miller Brewery. So yeah, we are like the drunkest people in state, whatever. But I didn't know that this man was running against Tammy. I already had my mind made up that I was going to vote for Tammy Baldwin because she has done great things for the state of Wisconsin when it comes to cutting drug costs. But on top of that, she's now campaigning to help with. Here goes my signal again. To help with the opioid, like people that abuse prescription drugs and things like that, and all these other kind of things. So I'm for her with that, and that's one of the reasons why she is getting my vote once again, like I've never heard of this man, and like apparently he doesn't even live in Wisconsin, so I don't think he should actually be allowed to run for Senate in Wisconsin if you don't live in Wisconsin. I feel like if you're gonna run for these government positions in a state, you need to live in the state that you're running for, in my personal opinion. So yeah, make sure you guys go out there and vote. One of the things I keep hearing, I'm getting so sick and tired of young people saying that my vote doesn't matter, my vote doesn't count, voting doesn't matter, voting doesn't. Your vote means everything. Your vote is going to do something. It's going to make some changes. It doesn't, like people think when new laws go into effect that that change is going to happen then. The laws that are being passed now we're not going to see the effects of those laws till at least 10 years from now. That's where we're going to see the effects of them laws. So don't think that your vote doesn't matter. Don't think that, change is going to happen. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It's not going to happen. Like I said, it's going to take some time for that change to happen, but we need to continue to get the right people into office. We need to vote for the right people so that way we as a group can live a more stress-free life. Like, if we go back to at least before 2008, I feel like things were amazing before 2008. If we can get times back to that, I'll be so grateful. Except the gas prices, because some of them gas prices was high as hell. But
true.
If we can get things going back to that problem, that error, or somewhat normal, I'll be happy. The fact that like people think like, oh, well, the pandemic declared over 2 years ago now. The pandemic was declared over in 2022 or something like that. We're still feeling the effects of the pandemic, whether you notice it or not. We're going to feel these effects for a long time. Like when the Great Depression happened in the late 20s going into 1930s, that lasted for like 7 to 8 years where they felt the effects of the Great Depression. So we're still going to be feeling those effects for a little bit longer. It's sad that big corporations are taking advantage of the pandemic with the increase in prices and things like that. Like now they're saying like, oh, a lot of car companies are not selling cars right now because cars are so expensive. If you want to go get like the souped up version of a Ford pickup truck, they have a souped up version that's like now $110,000. And like now, if you want, something like that, that's like nice, something like that, like, I think like it was like if you would have got a car before 2023, like a brand new car off the lot, somebody like I paid $600 a month for my car with the gap insurance. It came out to $700. But if I didn't get the extra warranty or gap insurance, whatever, I'll be paying like $600 a month. That was the average brand new car at that time period. Now, if you were to go buy a brand new car off the lot in 2024, you're going to be paying to $1,000 a month for a brand new car. And if you, yeah, and like even used cars were like expensive. So like that's the like, although it's not guaranteed that you're gonna get about 100,000 miles out of the car. One of the things that I have learned, the cheapest car that you can buy on the market right now, where you can get it like fully loaded and it still be less than like $20,000, is a Nissan Sentra or Versa. Those are about the only two cars right now that you can get that's fully loaded, less than $20,000. That's about your best option. Now, are you gonna get 100,000 miles out the car? I don't know, but that's your best option right now if you want to go for a fully loaded car at this point. Yay, we did it. So at this point, we're gonna head into the videos of the week, and then we're gonna head into final thoughts. So let's start off the videos of the week. I don't know. Okay, the graphic.
Yeah, dude.
It's delayed on my end. Okay. So the first clip is right here.
You know what I'm saying? And so what we got to do is understand. Oh shit! No, nobody saw it. Good point. We fall down and we get up. Something wrong with you. We fall down and we get up. She gonna cry in a I feel what you're saying about not being compatible. I feel what you're saying about not being compatible, but
is there a way that we can compromise this? Because if you hitting all the other marks.
So look, no, the compromise.
He just kept singing. I just had to.
And the fact that he kept singing while they were trying to shoot, they were like trying to talk like nothing happened.
She's like, no, wait, I got a point. I got a point.
We fall down, but we.
That was good.
Okay, I'm headed to the second clip. So the second clip is an angry ex, is what we're gonna call this one. So here we go.
Y'all gotta check this story out. It's real good.
I can't believe I just got home and my husband has completely cleaned out the house.
Damn, girl, why did he do that?
He was even so petty that he took the carpet that he put down.
Now that's some petty ass shit. I ain't never seen no shit like that.
I mean, really, so that's what men doing now. Like, you leave and you start pulling up everything that you pay for. I am a total shock.
Now come on, women been doing this shit for a long ass time. Now it's a problem that a man did it to you before you got to him.
Hey guys, I had to have time to process everything and to move my kids' beds out so we could try to start over and get new carpet. He didn't take anything that was the kids or whatever.
At least he thought about the kids. But what's the real story why this man did this?
I got to sit up and thinking like, hold on, my husband don't do no labor. So for you to sit there and clean out all the carpet, TVs, yeah, it was stuff that he brought. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to benefiting your kids, you can call up another lame fool that was able to be like, oh yeah, I'll come over there, I'll come and help you move that stuff, this, that, and the other. You're just as much of a lame as he is. Like,
I guess I'm a lame too because I'm gonna help my friend move if she needs to move too. But this situation ain't just occurred. This has been brewing. Ain't no way no man just all of a sudden jumped up, moved, and took the carpet too. Girl, you not telling us the full story. What the hell happened before all of this?
She said moved and took the carpet too.
That is my level of petty. I swear to God, that is my level. Oh my God, let somebody piss me off like that. Oh my God, I'm so dumb.
That's so funny. I cannot. Like, that's just the carpet, the furniture. It's like, I paid for this, I installed it. It's mine.
Right. Oh my God. All right, I got one more clip.
All right.
I had a damn party in a bathroom stall this morning with a Down syndrome boy. Let me tell you how my Tuesday morning's going, okay? I had to go to Home Depot this morning in order to grab a few things for the job site. By the time I got to Home Depot, I already drank 2 cups of coffee and a white Monster. So when I got to the aisle with the nails on it, I abandoned my mission because that guy go pee-pee. So I head toward the bathroom, and it's becoming an emergency. As I get to the bathroom, like right outside the bathroom at Home Depot, there's a lady standing there. I said, excuse me, ma'am, can I squeeze past you? I gotta go take care of some business. She goes, yeah, baby, I'm just waiting on my son. If you will you check on him when you're in there? I said, yes, ma'am, but I gotta take care of business first. I walk in there. Before I go checking on any kind of youngin', I gotta go pee-pee. I'm standing there. I got my dick in my hand. I am pissing, and it is borderline sexual. At this point, it feels so good. About halfway through my piss, I hear that somebody stand up out of the stall and hit the flush. Now, when they hit the flush, the only thing I heard was this person go, whoa. And I was like, damn, somebody got him a good one. Well, the stall door opens to the handicap stall, and this gentleman steps out, and he's not a kid. He's like 21 years old, but you can tell he has Down syndrome. You can tell he's severely autistic. He has Down syndrome. He looks at me and he goes, come here. And I was like, no, because I don't want any part of what you got going on in there. He's like, please, come here. Well, I'm looking at him like, okay, maybe he had an accident. Maybe he needs some help. So here I am. I finished up my piss, gave it a double shake, put it back in my pants, and I walked into the stall. And I walk into the stall, and I'm confused as shit because there is an empty toilet bowl right there, and there's no, like, mishaps anywhere. He looks at me. He goes, ready? I was like, for what? He takes a piece of toilet paper, and he rips it off of the damn roll, and he places it right in the center of the damn toilet bowl. He goes, 1, 2, 3, go. And he hit the button, and it's one of them toilet bowls. It's one of them commodes that like sucks your turd to the underworld. It's like all at one time. And as soon as it made that damn piece of toilet tissue disappear, this man yells, Houdini! And looks at me. And the joy that this young man has by making a piece of toilet paper disappear into the underworld is how I want to live my life. I am cracking up laughing at this point because he's so excited. He's jumping up and down. I started jumping up and down, and I was like, holy shit, this is the greatest fucking thing ever. I don't know why I was so excited. I've seen it happen 1,000 times, but I was excited. Then another man walks in, and the young man runs over to the edge of the damn stall. He's like, come here, come here, come here, come here. Another grown man walks into the handicap stall with us. It is now me, the Down syndrome boy, and another man. And he's like, you want to see it? You want to see it? This guy's confused. And I'm like hyping this little Down syndrome guy up. I'm like, show him. Do that shit again. I need happiness. Do that shit again. He rips off another damn piece of toilet paper, throws it in the damn toilet bowl, hits the button, and yells, Houdini! And now all three of us are jumping up and down, happy as shit, because we're having us a great fucking time in the bathroom. That's how short my attention span is. And the lady outside the bathroom heard all of the hollering and everything. She comes busting up in the bathroom because she thinks somebody's picking on her kid, when in reality, we're having a toilet bowl party in the handicap stall. This was the greatest Tuesday morning of all time. Now I gotta go to work. I'm carrying this happiness with me for the rest of the day. Jesus Christ. That's all I got, but it was a great Tuesday fucking morning. Shit.
I freaking love it.
Tuesday morning.
I
love how excited people get. Like, that is something that I will fall in love with about a person, is if they just get genuinely excited about something. I don't care what it is. Like, if they're genuinely excited about it, I'm like, I love this version of you. Like, this, I love it.
Oh my God. Everybody, that kid, he brought out everybody's inner kid. Like, I can only imagine, though, her to being a parent out there and then seeing her face running there. Like, why is all this noise coming out the bathroom? My child is in here.
Just being scared. Like, I get it.
All right. And then she runs in there like they all excited for the toilet.
Right? Houdini.
Right? Oh my God, I want to do that at work.
Like, my little sister used to work, because like we were working at the schools. She used to work at a younger school, and like I align with her in this way, that like working with any of our special needs students is like a beautiful thing. Like, you have to have some patience some days and everything, but like getting to work with them and like see them be happy and everything, and like spread their happiness, like, is just, it's so beautiful. There was this one boy that she worked with, I guess, that he I guess there was story time one day, and they were reading about giants. Like, their story had giants, and it was like fee, fi, fo, fum. I spelled like whatever the thing was. And when it talked about eating the people, or like the giants eating the people, the little boy just starts screaming, cannibalism! Cannibalism! And, like, to the point where like he couldn't get off of it, so they had to put him like in the reading area, like by himself for a second, so that he could calm down. And I was like, I love it. Like, he's so fixated for just a second, like, oh no, like, I love it.
Oh my God, I would have been so down with him. Like, I would have been the adult that would have been hyping him up. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I'd have been like, it is cannibalism, right?
Right.
They have hands. They have hands.
Oh my goodness. I have a coworker who was he was like special needs. He still calls me on it. I don't know, and it's crazy because like, he has like a stutter sometimes, but it's like some people will get with him when he's talking. I actually look forward to those phone calls that I get from him.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's, even though some people look at him like, man, there are some like the coolest people ever. I don't care what nobody say. But we reached that part of the show where we got to head into final thoughts, and Tavish is gonna kick off with final thoughts, because that's just normally what Tina normally does. Final thoughts first. And your final thoughts is basically, about today's episode, what we talked about on today's episode, and then what you want the people to know or do or remember or send a positive message. I don't know, but let's head into final thoughts.
So, to kick off final thoughts, I thought it was going to be both of us. So it's just me. I really loved being a part of the podcast today, but I thought it was really good the way that you had the videos like prepared for us to talk about and everything. That made it a little bit easier for me because I thought it was going to be like literally like just random, like I found this one just now kind of thing. So like that was cool. But like what's really sticking with me more than anything is the fun videos. Like I like talking about serious stuff and stuff, but like the fun videos is what makes me laugh and makes me happy and stuff. Something to remember is that you are worthy, not just when you like get your job or when you get a pay increase or when you get a degree or when you accomplish something. Like it's not any of those times that you become worthy. Like you are worthy because you're here, you exist. So just remember that you're enough. That's my thing. Inspiration.
Okay, my final thought is gas is still too damn high. I remember back in my day when you could go fill. I used to be so excited where I could go put $10 in my tank and ride for 5 months off of $10 worth of gas. We need to get back to those kind of gas prices, and then make sure that you go and vote. Don't vote for Donald Trump, please, y'all. Don't vote for Donald Trump. I don't want World War V to happen. You know, it might be so bad it's gonna skip 5 too. If he get reelected, it's gonna skip 3, 4, and 5 and go to 6. That's just how bad this man is. So make sure that you guys go out and vote. In Wisconsin, people, make sure y'all go vote for Tammy Baldwin. Your votes matter. You matter. And make sure y'all be safe out here. Cinco de Mayo. For you that's gonna watch this is. I should probably put this on Monday, but Cinco de Mayo was gonna be over the past weekend. Hopefully y'all was safe. For y'all who's watching this tonight or listening tonight, make sure y'all have fun tomorrow. I'll be at work on Cinco de Mayo. I might try to slip me a little bit of something while I'm at work. But yeah, make sure y'all stay safe. Yay! So, with that being said, thank you all for listening to the Same Cast Different Day podcast, whether you're streaming it on one of your Apple, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, iHeartRadio. We're on so many streaming services. Or went back and watched the video on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Thank you to Tavish just still filling in for Tina Marie while she's out on vacation. Having a good time. She's upset right now because she went to Vegas for the Lovers and Friends Festival, and as she landed, they canceled the event that was supposed to happen today. So she's in Vegas right now, really upset right now. So I'm gonna try to send her some
She's
happiness.
gonna be able to find something to do, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. It's Vegas, exactly.
She's like, I don't know what to do here. There's nothing. I walk up and down the strip. There's nothing to do. I don't know why everybody goes here. Like,
exactly. Do you want to let the people know what your socials are in case they want to come look you up on social media?
Yeah. On TikTok, I am at the Tavish, and Instagram, somebody beat me to it, so I'm the Tavish1.
Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing. Make sure you guys follow our all of our social media accounts. Our Facebook community is growing strong. 4,000 members in our Facebook community, so thank you all for that. Make sure if you want to, this is the part I always mess up on. I always tend to forget. What am I thinking about? Oh, fashion. Head over to habits365.com and use code Anthony4 to receive 20% off your purchase. And then if you need energy drinks or any type of energy products, Rep Sports, head over to repsports.com and use code Martel1 to receive 10% off of your purchase. So once again, thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast, and we will see you all on the next one.